Ah, a new horde of orcs.
What's up, everybody? Destroyer here, and welcome back to another cast of the newly released Rise of the Witch King Patch 2.2 version 7, and today we have a 1v1 on the Forts of Isen. So let's see who we got in this match today. We have Wolfy2 as Elves in the top left, and his opponent in the bottom right is Sayang as Isengard. So we got an Isengard versus Elf matchup on previously called Forts of Isen 2, now called Forts of Isen. Just that's it. Because, why not? Alright. Wolfie is going for a barrack start. And we have Sayang going for an Uruk pit start. So no Wildman for him, which is probably wise, because Wildman not particularly good against Elves. For the reasons they drop pretty quick to archer fire. So it's generally not good to send them at Elves. But you can make them work sometimes. It's not the worst thing you could ever send at them. And I am still casting my games on the Rise of the Witch King HD Edition Alpha, which is unreleased. But my units will look different, and that is not part of 2.02 version 7. Just putting it out there right now. So your units will look different than mine, just so you know. I know I sound like a broken record by now, but I still get people saying, why you look different? And I tell them that. But there they are. There's some Galadrim warriors, Lorien warriors rather. This is starting units. And we have some Uruks starting for Sayang. Cool. Of course, some buffs and changes have occurred between version 6 and version 7 for both these factions, as you might expect. Lots of things have changed and been tweaked. And yeah, let's see what I can think of off the top of my head. I briefly went over the changelog right before this game, but I don't retain information very well, so goblins. These aren't goblins. Never mind, I give up. Elves, they can train 3 Noldor warriors now, which have also got a buff as well. They got their base attack damage increased, so they're pretty good. Maybe a bit too good, we'll see. For how many you can get, I think. But I don't know if they'd be abused in 1v1 games. So we'll see. First of all, Sayang's pushing in with a couple of guys. He seems to be trying to line of sight these elves into melee range there, and it looks like he managed to succeed in getting a few of them. That's very nice. Sayang has gone for War Chant as his starting power. We have Wolfie going for Rally Call. It is now viable, though, of course, to go for Farsight and Vision of the Palantir as well, as those have been revamped. As Vision of the Palantir gives you a 15% speed increase, something like that. And the Elves get a range bonus. I think it's 15% as well. I could be wrong. The percent is probably not correct, but it's something like that. We'll see if they get it. But either way, they get a range bonus if you cast it on the area. So they get the sight and they get the range bonus, which is nice. And of course, the Isengard troops get the speed bonus, which is pretty cool as well. I actually like the Isengard one quite a bit. It's a lot of fun to use. Sayang's getting his Urukai on top of the archer line quite quickly. Just doing him some good favors, I'd say. He's not even going to the shield wall, he's just straight up going whole ground. Oh wow. You actually get a lot more information in the tooltip there. Units will not auto-acquire enemies while in whole ground stance, of course. And then it says a whole bunch of other stats. He's switching stances, of course, so it's changing. But aggressive stance has similar tooltips. Apparently against monsters you get 20% damage, minus 10% armor. So yeah, have a look at that for yourself. That's pretty cool though, that they have all that new information. There's of course new information when you click on a hero. It tells you how much damage they do, how much health they have. Stuff like that, which is pretty cool as well in this tooltip here in the bottom. Palantir. He's just spamming out these Uruks, isn't he? Sayang is going wild with the Urukai. And Wolfie is attempting to defend with what he has currently. He's going for a Mithlon Sentry, which I quite frankly wouldn't advise against what is being currently sent at him, but, you know, maybe he's fearing a Cav charge or something. But Wolfie's continuing to creep. There's of course the new colors. We have the lime green, which is pretty cool. I like lime green a lot. And then of course we have a nice vibrant orange. Isengard is rocking. The colors in the new 2.2 version 7 are the old EA original colors, but of course brightened up a bit to actually be usable. And then of course you have the lime green, which I believe was added as well, an extra color. But they're all pretty neat. There's no crappy colors anymore, which I'm a big fan of. I would use any of the colors in this patch without any complaints. Unlike the last patch, which, brown and yellow, not the best. Alright, we got alerts on the field, and of course gray was not very good either because I couldn't read it. Dark black gray, whatever you want to call it. Alright, second rook pick going down for Sayang. Warg Riders have got a buff, so they're actually pretty useful. And Sharku, of course, has undergone a change with his Warg stealing ability, whatever it's called. Tame the Beast, I think. He now gives experience to Cav. Wargs, Warg Riders. I think it might just be Cav in general. I think it's Warg and Warg Riders. So that's a pretty neat change, and he's just pretty good. So it's good. Blisses have also been buffed, which is fantastic. They got a really nice buff, so they're actually very viable now. Unlike the version 6 where Blisses were pretty trash, they're actually very good now. Against units specifically, they were buffed pretty heavily, so that's very good. They got a bit more splash damage to meet up with the rest of the siege weapons in radius, and of course they had a damage buff in general, because they don't actually get a upgrade like other siege weapons do, with any fire of any kind or anything. So it's nice to see they're up to snuff now. It's another change I can think of. Berserkers, when they're in the what's it called? Their torched mode, they actually move faster, but they get less armor. That's a neat little change. So you can get them into a mine quicker, but they will be able to be brought down quicker as well. Or if you want to get to a quick flank or something, you can combine that little speed buff with your Vision of the Palantir as well. It's a nice little combo for a little bit of a speed bonus on your Berserkers. You can try that out for yourself. I don't know how much success you'll have with it, but it'd be cool nonetheless. Saruman has got a buff as well. His Wizard Blast base damage is increased. Pretty good amount. Same with Gandalf. But of course, Gandalf's not in this match, so I won't talk about Gandalf. And he has Fear and Terror immunity at level 5. Which I don't think says on his Palantir, but it does say somewhere. I think. So we've got some Rivendell Lancers out for Wolfie. So he's going for Cav. He's got Mithlons. He's got Archers. He's got some Warrior Warriors as well. Sayang's just rocking a lot of Urukai. He's got some crossbows now as well. So they should be pretty effective there, especially under the effective pre-line. In these trees. It is nice to be able to cast Swords of Isen on high graphics with my shaders on full without having this horrible fog. Every map has had their revamp as well. So all the fog has been removed on appropriate maps. We don't need fog. There might be some that still might benefit from fog, like maybe dead marches or something, but not like super heavy fog where you can't see. As you see, we can see perfectly fine, unlike old patches where it wasn't so fun. The old patch. The dark days. When they went dark. Version 6 was pretty good. It was a pretty enjoyable patch, but version 7 seemed pretty enjoyable as well. Lots of neat changes, features, balance changes. We even have some graphical changes and sound changes. Just a lot of stuff. Looks like Wolfie has taken a farm there. Very nice. I wouldn't say Sayang's in any trouble, but still a nice pickup, of course. I think the Cav is going to be pretty big here. Especially since it's not really pulling out the pikes. Oh, there's some. Saying he's got a battalion of pikes, but they're nowhere near his army. Another small but neat little changes. Lurtz, while he's in bow mode, will actually start meleeing in bow mode when he gets attacked, which is nice. I can't count the amount of times where my Lurtz got attacked while he was shooting his bow, and he just started smacking them, terribly smacking them in the face with it, and doing no damage. So that no longer occurs. That's pretty nice. Yeah, he's getting run down. His reinforcements should be here soon. Looks like a big group of Isengard forces are on the way. We got more Lorien warriors on the way. I would like to see some Noldors if possible from him, but it doesn't look like he's even going to go for Mirkwoods at this point. Noldors with their buff, and they're 3 allowed instead of 2. It's pretty huge, I'd say. I believe they were 3 originally when RotWK came out, but that was changed by somebody at some point to 2. For balance reasons, I would assume. And that's been changed back to 3. And they got a buff, so I'm not sure if that was the right direction to take those, but we'll see, I guess. Personally, if I was going to buff them, I probably would have left them at 2 per recruiting. They're pretty powerful. They're one of the more powerful mini hero hordes, in my opinion, besides, of course, Black Riders. But you only get 1 Black Rider, so there's a reason for that. But they're the only ones that can stand from range and do a lot of damage. And I think that's what makes them most dangerous. Because you can't really get close to them very well with things. And they get a buff for siege weapons, which makes them difficult to deal with siege weapons now. Which is what you would think would be the counter to them a little bit. The best option to counter them, rather. For Isengard, at least. You're going to probably have to rely on Saruman, Ballistas, and if you can get some Deathbringers close, those would probably be good as well. But it's gonna... you might struggle. We'll see. Well, let's have a look at Saruman here. He also has some new voice lines, which is pretty cool, that sound like they were taken out of the campaign and thrown in there, which is pretty nice. I like quite a bit, actually. I think it's over his tooltip when you recruit him. This button, of course, you activate the Collector's Edition features, whatever they are for Isengard. I would assume banner stuff, banner carriers. I don't know what else they might have. But once Saruman hits level 5, he will give Fear and Terror resistance to his friends. It doesn't really affect... the only way it'll affect an Elven matchup here is, of course, the summoning of Frodo. And he can use his Via Galadriel to cause fear. That's the only fear the Elves actually have in their arsenal, I'm pretty sure. Saruman has potential for greatness here. I'm just waiting for him to be realized. There you go. Beautiful. There's the Elven Wood going down. Nice fireball, catching a lot of the cab there. Looks like we got Glorfindel being recruited. We also have a new dismount and mount icon, as you see there. The mount one's the same, but the dismount is a new different one. And it looks pretty good. Saruman's being retreated. There's Sharku. There's a good look at Taming the Beast right there. Targeted wargs and warguarders getting excellent experience. And because there has been a bit of a... well, it's not just a bit. The experience system in version 7 has been completely redone and overhauled. So certain units aren't broken, giving too much experience. Certain units take certain amounts of experience to level up now. It's all very fixed, let's just put it that way. It's much better. But that means you won't be getting as penalized, I would expect, for having higher tier units. Or maybe you will, I don't know. But it's still good to give your units experience. I think it's more so in this patch than it was in the last one. So now leveling up your troops with these things will be more important, I feel. With heroes that can do such things. Sharku is really on the ride for his life here. He's ravaging them. Nice. I think he's trying to get the troll to beat some of them to death. It looks like he is succeeding so far. And at least scaring them. Not getting any killed, sadly, for him. Saruman's already level 4, so he's doing pretty well for himself, I'd say. Sayang's getting more pikes and rooks. He's going for a Forgeworks now. There's Glorfindel. That's HD edition Glorfindel, of course. If you haven't seen him before. Wielding Glamdring. Not Glamdring. That's Galanol's sword. I always call it Glamdring. Orchrist. Or Crest, however you say it. The Goblin Cleaver. Which is a cool ass sword that Thorin Oakenshield uses in the Hobbit movie. Right, so there's you might be able to use it. It has a new icon, I think, as well. Looks like a warg on a leash. It fits. It might not be the same. I don't know. Or it might be the same. Thought I read it was different. Oh, Sayang wants to build her. Unfortunate. Looks like we have a statue going up here as well. If he's trying to fortify his position, but of course he's not going to stand here and wait for Saruman. He's going to get his builder out as well. The builder needs to run. I think he's going to die, actually. If he's not already dead. Starting up another heroic statue. He wants to live. He's chosen life. Will he live, is the question. Oh boy. Saruman is having a field day. And of course, if you haven't seen the timer yet, there's a timer at the top. But for casts, it's not as important because once you switch to observing someone else, it resets the timer. So it's because it reloads the Palantir. It's tied to the Palantir. That's why when you press F9 in game, it will reset it as well. And why it starts, and sometimes you're in game and it's already like 10-20 seconds. It's because the Palantir was already loaded before you got into the match. So it's very much tied to the Palantir. And that's why it resets it. So it's not as important for casting. I still blank it out in my cast thumbnails, but still, just in case. So we got Tainland Devastation, War Chance, Prebind. On PowerPoint 648 of 1,000 for Sayang. We have just Elven Wood and Rally Call on 14 PowerPoints, 330 of 1,000 for Wolfy. So Wolfy's got less powers, looks like, by a decent amount. And Sayang seems to be doing pretty well with his army sizes. We have a lot of cav out for Wolfy, though. I'm not sure if Glorfindel's still alive. I think he just died, if I'm quite honest. Unless he's in there somewhere. He might be, but I think he's dead. Yeah, he's probably dead. Alright, we got Mirkwoods coming out. And he comes. There's a lot of pikes there. Obviously Wolfy's not going to want to charge over that. Wolfy's huge cav army is going to be kind of irrelevant here. I think he should go for Lindens instead of Lancers against Isengard so he can actually deal with these. Because at least Lindens can shoot back. And they can still trample by running over the unit. Otherwise... Ooh! They won't do much. Nice fireball there. Not too shabby. Oh, he's got a Thunderbolt as well. Sayang is just having fun with the Saruman. I know how that feels. Oh, if he can time this, he could kill so many. He got a good chunk of them. Didn't kill nearly as many as he could have, though. He could have had the most epic Thunderbolt in history. And he got an alright one. There's the Mirkwoods. That's the HD edition skin, of course. Which is still pretty cool. Ah, the Watcher. Watcher has got a version 7 change as well. Pretty sure his arms are longer. The rocks around him are actually not trash looking anymore. He has some other things that happen as well that I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But it's just generally better, so nice. No, Saruman has failed. He's dead. An unfortunate turn of events. Well, in this scenario, the cav will be useful. You can avoid this. You can pick off stragglers here and there. Looks like Wolfy's starting to push back a bit. Sayang does still have Sharku up here. And Sayang is still attacking the bottom left. Looks like Wolfy was expanding down there. So he'll begin excavating out his trees. Another change I can think of is let's go up and go back. Ents. Ents now rage. At the sight of Saruman or lumber mills, they go into a rage. Which is it's a neat little feature, but I don't know if it's good or not for gameplay reasons. Because it does literally make them stop and get pissed off. Which could be pretty annoying if you're trying to use your Ent. So I'm not sure what to think about that one. But Ents do take longer to burn, I believe. But it takes less damage over time or something like that when they catch on fire. So it's not so bad. There's some lumber mills there. Speaking of the devil. Lumber mills, of course, have taken a bit of a nerf as well. They make less per tree, I'm pretty sure. And also each labor costs 2 command points. So they're not as OP. They're still really good, of course. They still might be OP, but they're still pretty... a lot less bad than they used to be. Good, I should say. A lot less abusable. But you can still, of course, have many of them. 2 command points is not going to break your bank for a few laborers, even if you want to spam them. But the decrease in amount per log is actually a very good nerf. Right, looks like Sayang has gone for upgrades. He's gone for the Forge Blades upgrades first. Which is a good one to have, especially the pikemen. They're being trampled by a cav. Although it looks like he missed most of the pikes, and then he decided to trample them anyway. So that was a bit questionable on Wolfy's part. He probably wasn't watching that. That was not ideal for him. Well, they're going to be here a while. 2 pikemen are really the only ones doing the damage here. And then a few archers just shooting for some reason. I'm sure those archers could be better used elsewhere. Not shooting a farm without a... So if you had silver thorns, it might be okay. Fire arrows, of course, but elves can't have fire arrows. Well, Clefernell's doing well, at least. Good and go. There's a reason he defeated Balrogs. Because he's a badass. Also, he knows how to levitate swords, which is pretty impressive. If I'm quite honest. Mirkwoods, I think, are the same as they were. They still come in a battalion up... Oh no. They're coming in a battalion of 10. Was it 10? Yeah, they were supposed to be 10, I think. I think they were always 10. There was discussion of making them 12, I think. But decided against it because of Mirkwoods. Unless it was they were just trying to make them 10 instead of 8, I can't remember. What were they, 10 or 8 in version 6? Let me know, because I can't remember. My memory's never good. I don't think these elves are going to go too far. There's a bunch of warg riders out. Here we go. Now we're talking. You can see the wargs in action now. Their trample has been increased. They don't lose as much momentum when they hit a unit, which is fantastic. That's the real reason they were really trash. And of course with Sharku's leadership, they do really well. And you can actually trample some pikes and get away with it if they're at least getting the bonus there. He'll lose a few here and there, of course. But against elves, you can actually trample over some pikes if there's only like 1 or 2. Killing the archers instantly, leaving the pikemen alive usually. Losing a few of your dudes in the process, of course. And then getting away. Which is pretty nice for Isengard. I mean, look at how many Warg Riders he still has left with Sharku leading the charge against that. I'd say that's pretty good. So between the Ballistas and the Warg Riders, I'd say Isengard got a huge buff. And of course, Saruman just being generally better, doing more damage. He's also really nice. Oh, that was a nice Thunderbolt. Beautiful. That's the kind of Thunderbolt you live for. Of course, he is a bit overwhelmed there, though. There's 2 too much. Looks like Elrond's in the field here for Wolfy. He had some changes as well. The only one I can think of off the top of my head, though, is he doesn't idle between his attack animations, so I guess he attacks faster, maybe? I mean, if he goes into attack, I'll have a look. Ah, Saruman's fallen. Unfortunate. Wolfy seems to be in charge right now, I'd say. Lurks could cripple, of course, Elrond. If he so desired. Oh, look at that. His leadership is a different icon also. I hadn't seen that yet. That's pretty cool. And of course he has Farsights, which doesn't give you any bonus. Like, vision, the hell is the power version called? Isn't it called Farsight? Can't remember. It is called Farsight. Both called Farsight. Oh, blood. Yikes. Oh, sayang just got brutalized by that flood. Anyway, I was trying to watch Elrond attack here. Still doesn't attack super fast, of course, but he doesn't go idle, at least, in between. He had some other things changed. I just remember what they are. Probably nothing huge, though. But he does have melee damage 263, 3,360 health. That's at level 2. I think that scales the stats as he levels, I would expect. Let's see what Lurks is, just by comparison. Range damage 171, melee damage 228. At level 9, he has 3,360. He has as much health as Elrond at level 2 at level 9. So it just shows how much more health Elrond gets than Lurks. Let's see, he gets level 9. Sharku like 3,900. Even Sharku has more health. Pretty good melee damage as well, 2,073. Yeah, he just leveled up. Now he has over 4,273 damage. And once Sharku uses Man-Eater, he gets 50% damage, 100% armor, and he gets restored health as well. Sharku gets pretty beast mode once he gets up there. Wolfendel is going down, and down he goes. Purple is a very dangerous thing to face as elves, or anyone really, with good heroes. But you don't want to get wrecked. There's the Mirkwood sniping off a builder. Same poor builders. They never stood a chance. Looks like he's opting not to go for any Noldors as of right now. He's going for Mirkwoods only. Looks like he's teching up to level 3. There is, of course, the Eregion Forge. Has a little icon for upgrading. I don't think the Elven one actually repairs siege units, because their siege is, of course, not from there. Or the siege is not mechanical, I guess is the way to put it. They have Ents, so they don't have the same mechanic as the other factions, like Trebuchets. Healing at the Men of the West seaboards and stuff like that when they get upgraded. Looks is getting low. I do like the fact you hear a lot more battle chatter now in replays. I don't have to be like looking at someone to hear the hero say a word. See, I hear Elrond actually makes sound now, which is pretty cool. Stuff like that. That happens a lot now. So that's been fixed up nicely. Which is great, because I watch a lot of replays, of course. So I appreciate any kind of thing like that. That enhances the experience of a replay. There's a lot of more replay tracks as well for music, which I can't, of course, use because I can't use any of the copyrighted music. But there is more replay tracks to listen to by default, which is kind of nice, instead of that boring one that we always have to listen to. Apparently we'll go through and play different ones, which is pretty neat. Is Elrond gonna get him? Heroes do move faster in aggressive stance in 2.2 version 7. Of course, you take more damage. It's only 10%. It's not a huge amount, but it might just be enough to catch something or get away from something. And of course in whole ground stance you move slower, as you always have. It's just the aggressive stance for thing that was the one that was changed really. I have summoned somewhere. There they are. Looks like they immediately did that "we're pissed" thing. Oh, that was from Devastation. Devastation basically killing off the ants before they got to do anything. Devastation is a great power against ants. There's actually a few powers in the game now that are counters to other powers. I believe Avalanche is good against Dragon. Flood is good against Balrog. Stuff like that. Obviously Devastation is good against the dude. Water. Ents? What the fuck am I on about? Not the Watcher. I think Elrond is playing with fire there. It's nice to see that his Wizard Blast actually does some damage to heroes now though. Now that the base damage is increased, it's actually much more useful in a hero battle. Normally you'd Wizard Blast and it would do nothing because heroes just don't really get phased by it too much. So they have a high armor and health pool and stuff. No, it does a decent amount. It does alright. Thunderbolt's probably still a lot better, of course, if you're going to try and kill a hero. Which you can do, of course. At level 10, if you haven't seen his level 10, of course, it's permanently gain control of target enemies, just like it's always been. But it's still a very, very powerful, especially against elves, I find, because you can steal their Mirkwoods, which is always fun. It's more fun than killing elves. Killing elves with their own elves. That's what's more fun. Or maybe taking their Noldors from them or something. That would be fun too. Wargrave's Forged Blades heavy armor. A terror on the battlefield now. Taking a tree in seconds. Literally seconds. They do look cool. Look at those masks. That's the HD edition skin of the War Rider, of course. But it's a good one. It's probably not too far off from the default one. Just more HD version. What would expect. Get some Lancers in there. Weapondel leading the charge. Oh my goodness. What a Thunderbolt. It seems like it doesn't kill as many as it used to. Maybe it doesn't kill, but anyone outside of the immediate blast range is knocked out into the air and not killed. That's interesting. I don't know if it was always that way. Might have been changed up a little bit. I'm not sure. This is not a scenario you want to be in as anyone having elves camping outside your base. And that he is. That's what happens when you cast Tainted Land on Elven Wood. The trees die. It's a nice little touch. That's cool. Wildman Summon is a good way to break up an enemy elf as well. Also, if you haven't seen the new Wildman Summon, you get 3 battalions of Wildmen like normal, but you get a battalion of Axthors now instead of a 4th battalion of Wildmen. So you get a little ranged unit instead of a 4th one. Which is nice. I think it's cool. Gives it a little versatile use. With diversity in the summon. You can still use it to, of course, attack buildings like you would normally. Because Wildmen... So these Wildmen don't come with pillage, do they? No, they do not. These ones do. The 3 battalions is plenty, really. Axlers can still attack buildings decently. It's not too bad. We got Elves getting upgrades, although they're getting slaughtered by the thousands. By the Wildmen of Dunland. Oh, there we go. That'll do it. Unfortunate. Saying send some words north. Saruman is level 9, almost 10. I would love to see a mine. That would be great. I don't think we will, but who knows. Let's see what we got for powers here. Sayang is at 19 after getting Watcher, so he'll have a 25 soon. 213 to 550, which isn't amazing. He's definitely not doing super well at the moment. And of course we have Wolfy2, who already has Flood. After getting Ensign, he's at 14. He's also got Cloud Break, so that's good. And Cloud Break Slowly heals allied units across the map. I think it has a little buff to that part of the ability. And adds several dead men per battalion resurrected. So that's nice as well. Oh man, if he can get him level 10, he can steal an elven army. I know that's what he wants. But he doesn't want to lose the Saruman. And you can't blame him for that. He's trying to line the sight him to a cheeky little fireball wizard blast combo. It might be his undoing. Oh, but the clump. Ooh. Let's see how many live. A lot of them die, but a lot of them live. He's really going for that level 10. He's close. Super close, but he is also in a bad spot. He has completely given up map control. And I think he's just all in on this Saruman at this point. And I can't blame him. If you're gonna lose, you might as well lose with some fun. He's got 3 battalions of Lancers fully upgraded in his base. He is trying to expand at least. Some description. But he has to wait for his powers to recharge. I think one more fireball on maybe some of these Rivendell Lancers will do it. And they do look super cool in HD, don't they? Especially with the golden armor upgrades. Even without. I mean, it's hard to tell when they're moving so much, but just let me assure you, they look cool. Glorfindel. Glorfindel's Starlight has been fixed. It no longer heals buildings like it wasn't supposed to. That was a bug that got squelched. That's good. So now it just heals your dudes around you and you get a buff. And it stacks with leadership, which is nice. Actually, you could do that and then you could cast Restoration on him and then you could use it again. Isn't that interesting? Elrond's Restoration ability is actually really powerful. A lot of players don't think about it too much. Most players don't even get Elrond a lot of the time, which is unfortunate because he has potential for greatness. I wonder who would win, a battalion of Wargriders upgraded or a battalion of Rivendell Lancers upgraded? Probably the Wargriders that use Howl. I mean, it's like 50% damage, 50% armor. Does that stack? Stacks with leadership and spells. It's nice that it tells you it stacks in the tooltip. It's actually quite intuitive. There's some Noldors. And there's, of course, the HD edition Noldor skin. Looks like they're straight out of the Last Alliance. Some green capes and stuff. Obviously, they didn't have that, but that's the player color. Oh, yeah. So, Noldor's had their melee stance buffed, I believe. I believe their base damage is increased, maybe for the arrows, perhaps. I'm not sure about that one, though. It might have been for melee. Oh, there we go, level 10 Saruman. Let's go, we said the Thunderbolt does pretty well. And you know he's going to try to steal an army. If he steals an army and beats the elf with it, that would be just the most glorious win I think I've ever seen. But we'll see. There's not much to steal at the moment. He needs a giant clump of elves fully upgraded. And then he'll really be in good shape. Or a full cav army, he can go for that. Well, he does have a lot of elves on the way around. He's also got Lightning Strike from the Wizard Tower on his fort, so he could use. Looks like Elrond's going to try and cut him down. Much better to use his cripple. Not sure why he isn't. All he has to do is press toggle bow mode. He doesn't seem very interested in doing that. He's going to die. He can't outrun Elrond. Elrond's a quick son of a bitch. If he doesn't use his dominate ability soon, he's not going to be able to. I don't think. Wolfy's not doing a great job of killing him, though. That's what we said. He could have easily sent an engineer and defeated him by now. But he's not really building a whole lot. There's a flood, killing off a little bit. Oh, there's one way to kill Saruman. Hit him with a flood. And by flood, of course, I mean Sunflare. And then run your cav into the fire, which is that was I mean, that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? But at least the fire got the forge, eh? Okay, well, both players are crippled. Wolfie's putting up a new fort. Ah, yes. Ye old fort spam. Classic. Lightning tower, yeah, this is the lightning tower. Definitely gonna ravage those quickly. A great counter to summon hints. Very effective. And now he needs to build an army to actually kill the enemy. Which means he'll probably be sitting here for a bit, and I'm gonna fast forward for a little bit. Until something happens at least. Looks like we have an attack here. Oh shit, Mr. Power. How would I have known? Because Dragon Strike was just used here. Dragon Strike had his speed increased. So now he gets to his target quicker, which is nice. Because you can actually hit things with it now. Potentially. Which is always a nice change. Wolfie's definitely going to win this game. It's just a matter of time, really. Yeah, I think we're going to fast forward a little bit more. I don't like watching nothing happen. He still hasn't taken anything, as far as I'm aware. Dominate something, for God's sakes. There we go, he took some units. He gets some Rivendell Lancers and some Fallen Sentries fully upgraded. Better than nothing, right? Now he can crush these Merkwods without mercy with his own cav. I'm pretty sure you can decommission the units you take as well. I don't know why you would, because you get permanent control of them, but still. In 1.09 or say, when they're temporary, it's probably better to decommission them, because then it won't get them back. I'm pretty sure you can do that. And that's a perfect example of the Treebeard rage. When he sees Saruman, he gets pissed. Because of course Saruman has ravaged Fangorn, and he's not happy about it. But that does... I'm pretty sure that makes him unusable for a second. Which I'm not a fan of. I like the flavor, but I don't like the gameplay aspect to that. Unless you can cancel it and still move, I don't think it's a good feature. Or at least it could be annoying. Who knows? Tom Bombadil. Out and about. Green Eagle. Watcher doing damage to his own build? No. There's a Glorfindel, I think. Elrond in there. Tom Bombadil as well. And throwing stuff at a fort. This should be GG here, I think. That's the only building he has. There it is. Beautiful. There you go. Wolfy2 is victorious over Sayang. What a game. Well, it was pretty good for the most part. The end got a little silly, but that's what I expected, I guess, at that point. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Nice little match. Nice to see Elf versus Isen, but I would like to see Isen triumph over Elves. Before people start calling Elves OP against Isen. But I would like to see more Noldor action and see how people counter it. If I'm honest, that'd be pretty good. Saruman seems pretty solid for that. That Thunderbolt's pretty nice. Fireball is pretty good as well. And Wizard Blast, I'd imagine, pretty good as well. So you have those options if you can get him. But yeah, that was a pretty good game. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next cast of version 7 of Rise of the Witch King patch 2.2. See you all next time.